Hello, everyone from Perfect Day Cafe. We want to introduce some of our friends in here. There's Rosemary next door to me. And I have Mao, M-A-O. So is that Asian for meow?
I don't know.
This is Epi. And who do you have?
And this is Hallie. She's so petite and adorable. And then we have all kinds of great kitties. We actually have 14 here right now.
14 now.
But they're napping because it's 3 o'clock. And we're closed today.
I know. And the sun's out. And remember that when people come in here, cats sleep for a very, very long time. So some people will say, oh, they look so exhausted. And I'm like, well, they've been petted on all day and they kind of sleep all day too. So, but one of the things that all these cats have in common is they're adoptable.
They are.
So many of the folks that come in here are here to adopt. Actually, about 70% of them are just here to cuddle and do fun things like that here on Bardstown Road. But a lot of them are really just here to kind of love on them. And if they make a friend or if they make a match, they adopt. So one of the things that we really wanted to have a discussion on is how to adopt, not only from our Cat Cafe, but maybe kind of range that into other thoughts. If you are someone that's out there right now that is looking for a partner, is looking for a friend, we kind of want to give you some advice because we don't want to act like we know everything. But what do you think, Rosemary? Out of 5,911 here.
We know some things.
And we are very, very close now on 1,000 adoptions. I think we're about 40 short from 1,000 adoptions in Covington.
Yay.
But we felt like that's something that we could share with you. It is our mission. We stay laser focused on it. That will be our next episode that you're going to hear. But in general, we really wanted to give you guys kind of an idea because it's one of the number one things that people ask us over our social media is, hey, I'm there to adopt. And we kind of get a sense that they want more information.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does this work? And we very much acknowledge that cat cafes are unique. Wasn't as unique as 4 years ago when we started, but it is unique, and we wanted to kind of explain it. So,
and we also know that we have it on our frequently asked questions page, but there's nothing better than coming in and talking to a team member about how the process works. And let's face it, we know a lot of people don't want to sit and read a frequently asked questions page.
Yes.
But you can listen to a podcast
Especially
or watch
me.
a podcast while you're doing whatever you're doing, which is
That's
nice.
right.
That's what we do. Podcasts are all about multitasking.
I think so.
Yeah, so there we go.
And not having to read. So that's more like me. That's right.
That's right.
But I thought one of the things that we would cover first, and how here at the Perfect Day Cafe, these kitties that do come in, prior to coming here, why don't you tell them a little bit about what goes on, where they're coming from, and what's done before they come here and get adopted?
A lot goes on. So is it 37 different counties? Is that where we are right now?
37 different counties across Kentucky and southern Indiana.
So Kentucky Humane Society, they are our exclusive partners, but within that partner are multiple partnerships. We even occasionally get kitties through the Kentucky Humane Society through Louisville Metro Animal Services. Mm-hmm. So it's like one great big team that works together. So our kitties come from 37 different counties, plus they come from people finding animals and turning them into the Kentucky Humane Society. They come from, and this is kind of the more serious stuff we have to talk about before we get to the fun stuff. Hoarding situations. People are doing the right thing at first, and then before you know it, you've got 20 cats, and who can take care of 20 cats, right? We also have kitties that are abandoned on the Kentucky Humane Society property. And then one very special thing that we get a lot of kitties are owner surrenders. People have to make difficult decisions, and sometimes those decisions come between paying my rent or being able to live in a place that, maybe I can't have my animal anymore. So the Kentucky Humane Society has an amazing owner surrender program where you can make an appointment and you can turn in your animal, and then they come to us. Mm-hmm. We've been seeing a lot of that lately, and I think that has to do with COVID.
Yeah, I think so too. COVID and unfortunately, again, the reality of it, you have grandma, you have grandpa, they have 2 kitties, you're from out of town, that just happened.
Somebody passes away.
So somebody passes away, what do we do? So that will be the story of some of the kitties that we have here. Is our bonded brothers up there?
Yes, we have Luna and Mabel are bonded upstairs. Yeah. They had landlord issues, which we see a lot of now. But becomes a happy situation because the Kentucky Humane Society helps these cats come to us, and then they get a forever home. A second chance, which is what we're all about here, especially with the adult kitties, because we see some pretty sad stories coming through, and it's hard having to make decisions, or it's hard having we have a lot of shy kitties lately because adults are very unlike kittens. When we get into kitten season, we'll talk about that later. But
That'll be fun.
Adults have a lot of, I hate to say it, but adult cats have a lot of emotional baggage they sometimes have to learn to unpack.
Yep.
And part of your job by coming here, of course, is adopting, but is also learning to teaching these kitties that they can trust people again. So when they come to us, we get this huge question: are the cats altered? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is all
Will not allow
about the
it.
Kentucky
Yeah.
Humane Society. So our adult kitties are, and all of our kitties are this, but adults have a little more medical procedures and vaccinations and things done to them before they come to us. So they're all, through Dr. Bewley and her wonderful staff, they are all spayed, neutered, microchipped. They're negative for feline leukemia. If they're adults, they're negative, tested negative for FIV, which I think we're going to talk about much down the road. They also have had their flea treatment, and then they're dewormers, and they are, I think I said microchipped, and they also have had their rabies vaccinations, and if you live in the Jefferson County area, the Louisville Metro license tag, which is amazing. Because if you go to a vet to get an animal spayed or neutered, you're looking at a couple of $100s at least. If they are an owner surrender, we have an owner surrender, typically a survey. If they're coming from foster, we have foster notes on them. But at the very least, we know where they are from originally. And we're talking Hazard, Harlan, Paducah,
Way
Ashland, everywhere across the state, as well as right here in the city. We see a lot of people. And what we love so much about the Kentucky Humane Society is that if you find yourself where you can't keep your animals anymore, Kentucky Humane Society will take them for you, make sure they're vetted out and ready to go, and then they'll come to us or to one of their other campuses, which is just amazing.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that Rosemary is covering so eloquently, because she has to say this every single day, at the end of the day, everything that is supposed to be done, all the processes are being done to the exact specifications. There is a lot of care going into each and every single one of these kitties to make sure that by the time they get here, everybody is followed through the procedures. Everybody is healthy as possible. We're trying to identify as much as that as possible. But you need to know that if you're out there coming to the Perfect Day Cafe, either in Covington or Louisville, or if you're at a different cat cafe throughout the country or even a shelter itself, these are some of the things that you do want to address. You assume it's going to be there, and yes, it most likely is, but you want to ask people, are they up to date on their shots? Everybody will be fixed. I think that's kind of a standard.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But all these details that we're going through, you assume that they're being done, but it's very important to make sure that they are done. And that's a big part of it. And again, kudos to the Kentucky Humane Society
and it's amazing.
for doing that. And I also want to mention Cincinnati Animal Care, Kenton County Animal Services, as well as Paws Rescue. Those are our 3 shelter partners in the Northern Kentucky area as well, too. Again, following all the protocols, making sure everything is done.
And it's absolutely amazing. When they're dealing with a large-scale hoarding situation, it's nothing for Dr. Bewley and the SNP clinic to do, 30, 40 cats a day to get them spayed and neutered, which is an amazing task. So that's the information that we have on them. And if they're coming from a rural shelter, the shelters are doing everything they can, but they just don't have the time or manpower like KHS does for you to sit down and turn in an owner surrender survey.
Right.
And a lot of people are just finding animals in rural shelters and no questions asked. You drop off that animal and then they get vetted out and they find their way to us. Occasionally, we'll also have animals that are what we call presumed spay and neuter. Yes, they are spayed and neutered, but because KHS is a nonprofit vet services, if Dr. Bewley doesn't do that herself, we have what's called a waiver in there. And they're always spayed and neutered. Dr. Bewley is really good at her job. And then we also have special needs cats that come in. So we have had kitties that have had their eyes removed, a leg amputated, a tail amputated. What all have we had, Chuck? It's been amazing.
Oh, I know.
But they have waivers as
Injuries that will take place as well, too.
Dental waivers for some of the older ones and things like that.
Yep. And I think one of the things to know as well, too, regardless of whether or not we have a ton of information on the kitty itself, that's what I love about this model, is that you get to kind of make a match in here. You get to see the kitty. You get to see what their disposition is like. We get to know the disposition. We help them out, right? So why don't you tell them, Rosemary, kind of describe what the experience is like. Somebody is coming in here to the Perfect Day Cafe. They are here to adopt. Tell us how that works. And by the way, starting with picking it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty easy process. You make a reservation online, or you do a walk-in if we have it available. And if you are looking to adopt, we always ask who's looking to adopt, because you get a little more VIP treatment here. And we also want to make sure this is not an overwhelming process for you, because if you come in here and there are 16 adoptable adult cats, and you've never had a cat before, that's certainly an overwhelming process. So we talk a little bit about one-on-one as we come in. Once you get settled in, we've gone over the expectations and the rules of how to handle the adult cats in the room. Then we talk a little bit about what your home life is like, if you have other cats, if you have kids, if you have dogs. If you've come in and you don't have any other animals in the house, that's pretty easy. You can sort of choose whoever you want, or rather, they sort of choose you. So we ask that you spend half of your session before you make your decision.
30 minutes.
30 minutes,
Yep.
because, when you go to a shelter, you don't get that quality time. So this is actually sitting in here, getting to know each and every animal and trying to bond with them. And we are firm believers that they bond with you. They come to you and they pick you. Even the adults do as well. So 30 minutes in, then we come and talk with you a little bit, and then we bring you an application. And the application is from the Kentucky Humane Society. It is right now very bright pink. Woohoo! Can't miss it. That is pink. You do have to be 18 years old to be able to adopt through the Kentucky Humane Society. So we have to have a valid driver's license, vet history. If you are a college student, you do need permission, although evidently you can bring your animals to college with you now, which we would have totally done that, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We get a lot of people looking for emotional support animals for ESA. Make sure that's approved before you do. But we ask a lot of questions on here, and on front and back, and then what we do is, while you're finishing up your session, if it's not too busy, you can turn that application in if we're not busy during the week. On the weekends, we do it after your session is over with, and then during that 10 to 20 minutes, that's when we do go through our software, which is through the Kentucky Humane Society, where we look you up. We'll be very honest, because a lot of people ask us, oh, how do you know these people are good enough to adopt? Well, we do have a system where we go through using multiple information from you, as well as your driver's license, your photo ID. Once you are approved, we can typically send home the same day, or we can actually hold a kitty for up to 3 days, and then you can go home and get your house ready or your apartment ready for your new furry friend. We do occasionally not approve people. Kentucky Humane Society is very forthright with that. If we have certain memos, because that happens, you guys, it happens. Kentucky Humane Society has a wonderful database where if there has been an issue with an animal in the past, absolutely, we do a denial. And I'm saying this not to be mean, but because people ask us that. We get that asked all the time.
I think it's important people to know that there is a system to filter through emergency situations.
Yes.
It is very, very rare, but again, people want to know that we do have a process, we do have a filter to make sure that these kitties are going to a good home. So. And
that's some of the hardest part of our adoption counselor jobs is to having to deny people for
Yep.
adoption. But ultimately, the most important aspect of the adoption is to make sure that a kitty or a dog at KHS is going to the safest, most loving, stable home that they possibly can. So after you fill out, and let's say Chuck is adopting and he's been approved, he's already adopted through the PDC, and then we sit down and we have a team of, our leadership team are also adoption counselors, so that's myself and Robert and Liz and Kayla and Emily, and we take our time. We don't rush through it. We welcome questions. If we know that we have a lot of animals getting adopted, say on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Tuesday's the new Saturday, then what will happen is we will schedule a pickup, because we want you to have an educated, just wonderful, slow experience. And it takes about 25 minutes from the time after you come out of your session and you are approved.
Right, but if you want to take more time from us, then we're good with that.
Right, absolutely.
We just, whatever questions you guys have, we have a lot of materials that we can send home with you, just making sure that transition is a successful one.
Absolutely. So what we do is once you're approved, we sit down. I'm not going to go through this folder, but you get this wonderful folder that has all kinds of things in it. So in addition to everything that's already been updated for these adoptable rescue cats, they also come with a starter bag of food. I should give Chewy a shout out, right? American Journey, which is Chewy.com's proprietary blend. They donate all of that food to us, bless you, as well as starter bags. So you go home with a 5-pound bag of really, really good cat food. You also get 30 days of complimentary pet insurance, which is huge because guess what? 2 weeks in, kitties can come down with kitty colds.
That's right.
You know, it is very stressful for these animals. You can imagine if suddenly you're in a home and then you have to be surrendered and you're not in your home anymore, you're at a vet clinic, then you're in a foster home, then you're here, then you're at a new home, all in the span of about a week. It is a real test on the immune system for cats who already have very delicate immune systems to begin with.
Yeah, so I think that's another subject matter that we wanted to breach into, whatever, about the adoption process. And again, this is going to be universal, whether or not you're here, Covington, or any other cat cafe across the country. A cat has a sensitive immune system.
Yes.
And stress is a big part of it. So 2 parts to take away from that. Number one, if you're not here to adopt and you're here to love on them, it's a 2-part system. I want to go into that story at a different time. But once they feel safe, in other words, no one's going to attack them, no one's going to hit them with a car, that's one level. And then once they feel loved. And when people are coming in here loving on the cats, feeling safe, there's food, there's whatever they need, then it absolutely transforms their personality, and then they become a lot more adoptable. So, but when you're in here, you got to make sure that you're trying to make that match. You might take them home. They might get home. Number one thing we have is upper respiratory infections.
Absolutely.
So we want to be very, very upfront about that. That is going to exist whether or not you are a shelter, a cat cafe, or you find a stray. Upper respiratories are things we check out everything we can in accordance to what the vetting process is. There's a standardization no matter what shelter you have, but things happen. And that is something that we do want to be very upfront about.
You don't know you have a cold until you really start to feel like you have a cold. And then you go, oh, maybe I should go to the doctor. So the other perks that I wanted to mention that Chuck was talking about, that's that insurance is literally a complimentary pet visit, and they honor it for 4 weeks out. If you don't have a vet, hi baby. If you don't have a vet, big shout out to VCA Fairley and VCA Sheldon here in town. Complimentary wellness exam and 30 days of complimentary pet insurance. So that way, 2 weeks in, if kitty comes down with a kitty cold, and these are rescue cats, you guys, it's covered. Everything but a $50 copay, which is amazing. Says the person who has 3 special needs cats and no insurance.
That's right. Yeah. And you never know where that's going to go. So just do understand that. Like when somebody, we won't go into depth on it, but somebody will say, you sold me a bad cat. Well, that kind of rubs cat cafe and shelter people the wrong way.
It does.
That's okay. Yeah. We understand that. But what the general gist is, you are a part of the solution. You are rescuing. You are here to help.
Right.
So that's really where we want to make sure that you know that. A couple of other rules that we have here as well too. How it doesn't work is what we call it. How it doesn't work. So go into a few of those.
So how it doesn't work. We can't hold kitties over social media. Even the little teeniest, tiniest, adorable kittens. So how that works is you do need to come in and spend at least half of your session before you make your decision. We cannot do holds over the phone. We cannot do holds over social media. This is a commitment. Look at that. Epi is a commitment. He's so cute. And so we want to make sure you might see we get a Siamese in, and you might fall in love. But you know what? Siamese have particular personalities. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure that cat loves you and you love that cat. So that's how we don't work. We also don't do intakes. We get that all the time. I have a cat, or my mother passed away, or I found a cat. We cannot, by law, take in stray animals or surrendered animals because these kitties are all vetted out the same way. They're in their own medical bubble. What you can do is we're happy to get you in touch with the pet helpline so that you can get them to the Kentucky Humane Society. So we all work together to make that happen. And so just please understand that, yes, especially during kitten season when they see cute little fluffy, Siamese kittens, we can't hold them. And we can't, unfortunately, we can't let you in here for free.
No, and that's one that I wanted to cover here as well, too, and just kind of let the general public, I'm the owner, the buck stops here, and it starts here, too. I just want everybody to understand that we have a rule here that says that you have to come in and meet the cat. I've had plenty of people that have come outside here, they find the cat that they wanted, they look at it, they haven't met it, they haven't played with it, anything, and they say, that's the one, why do I have to pay to go in there? I understand that we benefit financially if we mandatory that people come in here and pay that fee. I understand it. Please understand as well that we would be closing our doors if we did not charge a cover charge to come in here. So that's one thing. But number two, we want that bond to happen. And we see people that'll come in here looking for one kitty. They saw it on social media. Now we're ready for the new one. So yes, we require you to come in here and spend time. This isn't a casual decision for us. And we don't want it to be a casual decision for you. 15 to 20 year commitment. And so we really want to make sure that you are in here spending at least a half an hour with these cats. That's my rule.
And it's a
not going to change it.
The adoption fee, which is crazy low, it's about $85 to $95 depending on the age of the cat for the adult kitties. But you're also looking at medical care. So you need to sit down and think about, if my cat gets sick and I don't continue with the free insurance, if I don't continue and start paying for the insurance, am I equipped to be able to care for this beautiful little kitty for the rest of my life? And that's one thing that we really make sure people understand, that it needs to be a very serious decision, because you know what, these guys are depending on you. Yes, that's right, buddy, they are.
A songbird.
Yeah. And we do, of course, we say, we get people, this is another little pet peeve, we're not venting, but I want to buy a cat. Well, these are rescue kitties. So we always say you're going to make adoption your option. I love that Kentucky Humane Society says that. So you are making adoption your option, and you are rescuing an animal that, as Karen says from KHS, otherwise might not have a very good outcome. Yeah. And so we take what we do very, very seriously. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun.
We do. And we have a lot of people that have a lot of fun in here, and we want to make sure that we maintain that. That's part of what it is, again, that we have for these episodes and these podcasts in order to be a resource for you. So if you are out there right now, you're looking to adopt, we want you to know how this is going to work at Perfect Day Cafe. It's probably going to be like that at most cat cafes, but you're going to be able to come inside of here. We have a fee to come in here. We require a minimum amount of time, but you've got all these cats, and they're all just hanging out, and you really get to meet their true personalities versus looking at them from a cage and things. That's right. And then after that, you fill out an application after 30 minutes. We can process the adoptions here. In many situations, they can go home. I do want to address one other way. It doesn't work here. Yes. They don't always get to go home same day. Right. We try to do our best on this. Some people don't agree with the model. Yeah.
And I think I'm okay with kittens too. We get people who want to take their kittens home immediately.
Yeah, and I want to go now, and I want to take it home. Why can't I? And they don't understand. And we're so blessed, by the way. It's what we always talk about. We are a product of our own success, and we are a success because you've made us a success. But it's one of those things where we run into somebody that says, I don't understand why you just don't let them all go home. There are days here at the cafe we would literally have to close this whole second half of the day.
We've had to.
Yeah, because we are just run out. So that's why we have to tell people, you need to come back tomorrow, you need to come back to the next day. KHS in general comes here every single day. Same thing on Northern Kentucky. They're there now, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'm hoping it's more often. But we sometimes have to ask you, you need to come back at a later time. And you know what? That gives you time to kind of get the environment set, get people get people ready for it, meaning kids.
Especially the adult cats.
That's really right. Important. That's right. And then, of course, litter box and food and all that good kind of stuff.
And I did want to say, too, another reason that we don't send kitties home because we need them, obviously, is because everybody pays the same price to come. And we have people who are here not just for a date or a socialization or just to help us with our mission. Some of them are grieving the loss of their animals, and this is a stepping stone for them to be able to start healing their hearts by spending time with a kitty like Epi. They know, well, maybe I'm not ready yet, but I know when I am ready, here's where I'm going to come.
Yeah.
Because it's such an easy process. It does get a little crazy in here on Saturdays and Sundays. And occasionally we'll get people who'll say, oh, the cats are stressed. We always say, sure, the kitties might be a little bit stressed, but they would be much more stressed if they were sitting in a kennel in a vet clinic or at the shelter. And Dr. Bewley wholeheartedly agrees. She pops in and says great things about them all the time.
And they get socialized here, and you guys are a big part of that.
I don't know. Epi looks like he's pretty under-socialized. So. And Chuck, I totally forgot to mention, the biggest perk in all your folder here, in addition to everything else, is the Perfect Pet Match Program. Yep. And I don't know that many shelters, I don't know all the shelters that do that, but if within the 14 days from taking home your kitty, if something, and we say if it's not a healthy, safe, happy match. Now, that's one thing if they're smacking each other around, because that's just what cats do. But if it's truly not a good match, the Kentucky Humane Society, within 14 days from take home, will take that animal back by appointment. You don't bring them here because they've been out of their medical bubble, but they'll go over to the main campus to Dr. Bewley again. She will re-vet them, they will rehome them, and they would give you a gift certificate in the amount of your adoption fee that you can use within the next 6 months. Yeah. And that's a great thing that KHS does to ensure that these animals are well taken care of and to ensure that the adopters are well taken care of.
That's right. So hopefully you've been able to tell from this video our processes, how it works, what is the right way, the wrong way, and some of those other pieces. And again, we want to thank everybody that's out here in our community in Louisville, Kentucky, and of course Northern Kentucky as well too, where it works a little different. But if you are here to adopt, please watch this video. This will be a great kind of an intro to how that's going to work for you. We get very busy. Reemphasize, if you're here to adopt as well, come during the week. Yeah. That is a really good time to be able to do that, especially if it's during the day. But of course, weekends we're super, super busy. And
we don't send home at the last hour.
Yeah.
Because our team has a lot to do at close.
Yes.
And these kitties want their dinner.
And we want to do it right. So.
And we do take an adoption picture, so make sure you look good when you come into adopt.
That is right. So anyway, thanks so much to everyone out there for the support. We hope you come by to adopt and make it a perfect day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.